So now that we've done a bit of an introduction to MyClub and had a bit of a look around the main parts of the system, which is under the club section, we're in members and we're going to dive straight into importing data into MyClub. And this is a huge part of the system and a really, really cool feature and change that we've made to our old system sports block that actually allows you to take an existing data set. So let's say it's your new registrations for the upcoming season. You've got player names, their first name, last name, their emails, date of birth. And the really big item that we've added is that you can import players and the teams that they're in. And not only will the system look up and see if the teams that you're trying to import are existing teams in your database on MyClub, but if they are not, they will then sort those members into their teams for you. So just to go through that again, essentially, if you've got a spreadsheet, that'll probably look something like this. Just move this across here. If you've got a spreadsheet that looks something like this, where we've got first name, last name, email, some other details like date of birth, and then the team or group that these members are in, you can import this list into the system. It will import all of these members in for you. And if these are existing teams in your database, it will then match that up with the teams that these members are saying they're in. It'll match them up with the existing team in your database. And if it's not, it will create these teams for you on MyClub and it will sort them into their teams automatically for you. So what we're going to do here is we're going to jump straight in and we're going to go under the members section in database. We're going to click manage and then import members. And we're going to do 2025 import. We'll click create import, and from here we can drop that same CSV or a CSV that we've got into the system. Or if we don't have a CSV that looks anything like this or an Excel file that looks like this, what we can do is we can click download sample CSV. That'll give you this exact formatting for a spreadsheet, and you can drop it in there to get started with the import. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop that CSV file straight in. So I'm going to click on here, I'm going to drop in the CSV file, and that will automatically map the fields that we've got up the top here. It's going to automatically map them in our import tool. So I'll drop that in now, and then we'll go to the next step. So it's loading that file in now, and then we can see across, it will automatically take you to the next step. We can see first name, last name, email, all of these fields have been mapped. It's in green, telling us it's been mapped successfully. And we can now click upload, and that's going to load in all of that data into the system. And all we've got to do now in this section is go through and make sure there's no duplicates that we've imported. So we can check members, we can check the teams we've imported, and any of the tags as well, because we can put tags on members. And we can see that there are no duplicate entries. And so what the duplicate entries would do is they'd show up here, and we can select whether we still want to import them or whether we want to remove the duplicates from this import. And essentially they're just looking through our data, our existing database on MyClub. They're saying if there's an existing member that has the same email and the same name, then you can choose not to import that member again, because obviously they're still in the system, or they're already in the system. So we're good to go. We'll click review all data. We can see our members here that we are now ready to import into the system. And so those members that we have imported, they're all here sitting here for us. We can see that there's teams attached to them. So the teams that these members had when we were importing the data in this sheet, it's imported the team in as well. And here what we can do is, if the system hasn't picked up that there was an existing team already in the our MyClub database that was actually on the sheet, instead of creating this team in the system when we import this data, we can map it to an existing team. So if our volunteer group was actually just the Norths FC management group, then we can map these together. And what that'll mean is John Gray is not only imported into the system, but he's also added into the Norths FC management. The same goes for if we have accidentally not cleared out a duplicate entry and we want to merge the member with an existing member in our database. We can choose that member and we can merge this account with them. Now I'm going to leave these two fields blank because we actually want to create the volunteer group on MyClub. We want to create the volunteer group and we want to create the under 23 men's squad, and we want these players to be sorted into them automatically as part of this import. So what I'll do now is I'll click finish import. It'll take a second. We'll get a little pop-up message that's going to import these members into the system for us. So once that's finished, we can do return to dashboard, and we can now see we've got those members in the system in our member database under members and then database. We can increase this to 25 to see the last two members. So they've all been imported here for us. We can obviously see they're not connected because we haven't invited them to join and they haven't taken control of their account. But if I now go across to teams and groups, I can see we've got our volunteer group created for us. So we didn't have this in the system before. The same for the under 23 men's squad. And if I click on one of them, it has sorted those imported members into those teams for us. So just to give you a quick recap, we only had these two teams in the system previously, Norths FC Men's First Grade and Norths FC Management. And with this import, what we can do is not only import those members, those 10 members into the system, but if they are part of teams on the spreadsheet that aren't already in our MyClub database, it'll create those teams and sort those members into the teams for us. And what this means is that as you roll into a new season, you can export data from Play Football, Play HQ, Dribble, wherever it might be, whatever registration your system that your association uses. You can then take that import sheet, put it straight into the system. You can sort through any duplicate entries for existing members, and any members that are, or any teams that you don't have created. It might even just be a squad, but it's usually pre-season. It'll create those squads for you, sort the members into those teams, and you are good to go to basically start things like grading, getting set up for the season ahead, and looking at moving players into the right teams for the season, the upcoming season. In the next video, we're going to take a look at how we can actually then go into one of these teams or groups and how we can start to add members to them and create schedules for them. And we're going to start that part off by going into venues, where we can create some venues for our club.